President Tinubu in Abu Dhabi for Sustainability Summit.
New investments enhance Nigeria's nationwide animal disease surveillance.
Marine and Blue Economy Minister seeks nationwide ban on wooden boats.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss political developments in Rivers State.
Rivers State is once again center stage, and not for the reasons anyone would envy.
Indeed, and sad but true. The agreement reached on the presidential intervention is showing signs of renewed tension.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his predecessor and political godfather, Nyesom Wike, and a fiercely divided House of Assembly are back in open confrontation.
Impeachment notice, flying accusations of gross misconduct are on the table, and the fragile truce midwifed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has collapsed under the weight of what political analysts are calling mistrust, ambition, and unfinished business.
Yes, Jumai, experts believe this is no longer just a disagreement, but a high-stakes power struggle playing out in full public view.
Indeed, in full public view, and very concerning. And what makes this crisis particularly combustible is that it's no longer just about law or procedure, but control. Control of the party structure, control of resources, and control of the future.
Control of the future. Fubara's defection to the APC appears to have shifted the chessboard, unsettling old alliances and hardening positions.
The assembly, which analysts say is dominated by Wike's loyalists, insist it is acting within the constitution, but other reports suggest Fubara supporters view it as political strangulation disguised as accountability.
Even the APC is split down the middle. The warning that an impeachment now could implode the party from within and destabilize the state yet again.
That's the tragedy at the heart of it all. While the political elite trade blows over loyalty, succession, and supremacy ahead of 2027, governance is pushed to the sidelines.
Well, Rivers people are watching a familiar circle. Peace deals that don't hold, institutions stretched to breaking point, and democracy reduced to a battlefield of egos.
Egos, well, as events continue to unfold, the focus will be on the steps taken by all to maintain stability. The situation in Rivers State also offers a wider reflection on democratic conduct and political responsibility in Nigeria.
So, political development in Rivers State is on the focus on Good Morning Nigeria today. All eyes, including ours, are on this drama playing out in the oil-rich state. Thanks for joining us. The first episode for the week. I am Ademola Adeoye.
And I am Juma Yusuf. I also welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria today. We're live on the network service of the NTA. The newspaper review is on the lineup, as usual. But first, here's the news with Chinenye Onwoye. Good morning, Chinenye. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Good to see you too, Juma. Happy New Year. Ademola, Happy New Year to you too. Good morning, Nigerians. Here is the news. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Abu Dhabi, capital of the United Arab Emirates, for the annual Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week Summit. The Nigerian presidential airplane landed at the Zayed International Airport at approximately 11:30 p.m. local time Sunday evening. He was received on arrival by the UAE Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Shakbud Nayan Al Nayan, on behalf of the government. President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, invited President Tinubu to participate in the 2026 edition of the summit, beginning this Monday. The week-long summit is an annual event that mobilizes leaders from government, business and society to chart the next era of sustainable development with the theme, the Nexus of Next, All Systems Go. ADSW will connect ambition with action across innovation, finance and people, showcasing how the world can move forward with confidence. Recall that President Tinubu, who departed Lagos on Sunday, December 28, has been in Europe as part of his end-of-the-year break. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega Oyetola, has renewed his call on state governments across the Federation to urgently ban the use of wooden boats for commercial water transportation and instead invest in safer, modern fiber and aluminium boats. The minister made the call against the backdrop of recent tragic boat accidents which claimed several lives and left many families in mourning. 19 days after the fire incident that engulfed the Great Nigeria Insurance Building and 6 other structures on Martins Street, Lagos Island, demolition of distressed buildings has begun. The exercise is being done amidst tight security.
Assuming that their risk is an insurable risk and they've taken the necessary insurance to support their business. Well, those category of victims will be able to come back earlier than the people who might not have had any form of insurance for what they have lost.
Nigeria's animal health system is gaining renewed momentum as efforts intensify to strengthen disease surveillance and control across the country. The Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, at the inauguration of a state-of-the-art veterinary diagnostic laboratory in Sokoto State, says recent investments in modern veterinary infrastructure are positioning Nigeria for a more efficient, effective and resilient livestock production system.
The imperatives infrastructure that we require to transform the livestock sector in Nigeria. We're talking about animal health. We're talking about survivability. We're talking about sustainability. The only way that can happen is to close those gaps. Here in Sokoto again, we have seen a conscious effort.
Barely 3 years after he was arrested, prosecuted and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment, an 80-year-old has again been nabbed by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, for returning to the criminal trade. Tons of illicit drugs were also uncovered in raids across the country during the week in review. And that's the news for now. Good Morning Nigeria continues shortly after the break with Jume and Ademola. To stay.
This year, Nigeria watched, Nigeria listened, Nigeria partnered.
From Arewa to the coast, west to east, one screen, one signal, one nation.
To our viewers, Mungode, thank you for welcoming us into your homes.
To our corporate partners, Eshegon, thank you for trusting us with your brand, your messages, your ambitions.
Together, we share the news that matter, the stories that unite us, the service that strengthens our country.
To those who stayed with us, Ndeonu, Dalu, thank you for believing in a platform that stands for trust, authenticity, and reliability.
As the new year dawns, our promise is renewed. Greater commitment, stronger collaboration, higher professional standards.
More value for our clients, more quality for our viewers.
Because when Nigeria speaks, every voice must be heard.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for partnering. Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Let's go, darling. Mirror, mirror. I like what I see. Can't get enough of me. I feel like a darling. I feel like a darling. Mirror, mirror.
Darling Braids. Wear the latest styles that make you feel like a darling.
darling.
In the last 3 years or thereabout, Renewed Hope Initiative, a pet project of Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, has gained prominence as it works to build a more empowered society. Through the initiative, the First Lady is driving impactful transformation through interventions in 5 key areas, day in, day out. For a rich summary of these interventions, join me, Adeni Taiwo, every Friday between 10:30 and 11 a.m. on Renewed Hope Initiative Half Hour for an inspiring tour into the world of empowerment.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
This December, all eyes in Morocco. Africa assemble. All dreams are heading one way.
All passion, all fire.
Because here we play different.
Choose your side.
Show your colors.
Bring your flag.
And we welcome you to Morocco.
Get ready for the drama, the passion, the pride. From 21st December 2025 to 18th January 2026, history will be made again.
You guys ready?
Time to wake up. Afro Sports, your freedom of sport.
What more do you need?
Guys, food is ready.
Cook to impress.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. It's now time for newspaper review.
And our newspaper reviewer, Chukudi Okolo Baja, is in the studio. Good morning, Chooks.
Jumai,
Good
how
to
are you
see
doing?
Fine.
You're a sight for sore eyes anytime.
Thank you.
Demo!
Good morning.
I just pray you don't demolish me one day.
This one, they shake your hand this morning.
No, we are
He's
becoming
shaking your hands
friendlier
this morning.
and friendlier
I'm
and
afraid
friendlier.
Okay. How did our boys do?
They no longer run, but they no longer stay on the field, Makbue, like Pap, we don't spoil. They are doing well. Fleet-footed Super Eagles conquerors of any team in the world. They are great people. But let them sustain it too. Otherwise, my mouth will turn into scissors.
They should not allow the praise go to their head, you know. And your Arsenal, our Arsenal too also did well.
They are doing well. No,
Arsenal
I beg, leave us now. I beg. Let's talk about.
Let's talk.
When is our match is on Wednesday?
Somebody is not happy.
We are 18 points ahead of them. Their match is on Wednesday. More agony for Chelsea.
Exactly. So let's go to the papers. I'll begin with the Business NG this morning. And above the masthead of the Business NG, OT dismisses opposition alliance, urges Abians to ignore noise. You find the details on page 2. NDIC declares 24.3 billion naira second dividend for Heritage Bank depositors. Details on page 2. And below the masthead of the Business SG, Nigeria strengthens to 1,424.5 to $1 in second trading week of 2026. That's good news. Details on page 2. And the headlines, tax reform confusion spreads as bank staff struggle to explain new rules. With riders, 80% of bank customers' concerns center on tax laws. You find the details also on page 2. At the side piece of the picture story, Kano commissioners stepped down ahead of governor's party switch and cabinet shake-up. You find the details also on page 2. Nigeria's debt burden soars 31% of budget committed to loans. You find the details also on page 2. Food insecurity looms. 35 million Nigerians at risk amid conflict, rising cost. That's coming from the PwC. If you want to know what it's all about, you go to page 2. And Nigeria shifts from stabilization to expansion as inclusive growth in 2026. Now, let me quickly go to this Nigerian newspaper, and by the side of the masthead of this Nigerian newspaper, Serap sues INEC on alleged unaccounted 2019 55.9 billion naira. Find the details on page 4. And at the side piece of the picture story, FCT police arrest 3 suspects linked to Abuja lawyers' killing. Details on page 7. INEC insists no LP candidate for February 21 area council polls in Abuja. Details on page 18. Sure. And the headlines, March 2026 deadline, banks under pressure over recapitalization. With riders, 22 complaints, 12 risk mergers or license downgrade. And economists warn of consolidation regulatory sanctions. Find it all on page 2. And at the bottom plate, Lagos probes alleged negligence in Chimamanda Adichie toddler's death. Details on page 4. Mr. Demola?
Okay, thank you, Jumai. I have the Blueprint newspaper. Just above the nameplate, NDLEA bust 80-year-old ex-convict, uncovers tramadol hidden in mannequins. Details on page 10. FCT police nabbed 2 brothers, one other in Bachigo's mother. Then we have Super AFCON. Super Eagles return to first ahead of Morocco clash, which will be coming up on Wednesday. And the major headline reads, again, gunmen kill 4 in Niger. Katsina defends planned release of 70 bandits. Prisoner exchange worldwide protests. Police kill scores in Kogi. Armed Forces Day. Clerics charges Nigerian military against coup. And down the line, we have Wike tackles critics, vows to work for Tinubu in 2027. IPMA rejects fuel imports as Dangote refinery denies supply disruption claims. Details on page 22. I'm inspired by impossible, says leadership development coach Durotoye. Plateau government rescues reunites 25 abducted travelers with families. And the middle page says, court holds resident doctors' planned strike. Chooks.
I hope the resident doctors will listen to the court. The court order. I hope so.
I do believe they will.
We are tired of this resident doctors' government face-off. However they want to solve it, let them solve it. It's becoming something that jars somewhere. It rankles. I'm sure I used those two words on Friday as well. You know, it's disturbing now.
They
Let
go
them
strike
solve.
and Nigerians die.
It doesn't make sense.
By the numbers.
People are dying in the hospitals.
They're dying.
Have a heart. These are human beings for crying out loud. You know?
The last strike, I lost.
Oh dear.
My
That's even a direct.
Yeah, I lost an uncle too.
My wife's brother died.
I lost an uncle in Gombe.
Because of the strike.
You are involved
Yes.
somehow.
We're all involved.
You see, when we come here to the studio, we talk about these matters. It sounds like they happen to.
Because there was
my
no
people,
attention given.
my people have a saying, if it happens to another man, it will feel like it happened to a tree in the forest. Look at what Demola has just said now.
I lost an uncle.
Oh,
too.
dear.
I did in Gombe. Go to the hospitals. No
So you can
doctors,
imagine.
no
Do you
nothing.
know that
The
if we
impact.
were as mindful about human life as we should be in this country, we should be suing some people over some deaths in hospitals?
We were before, but now I don't know what changed.
There's so many things change.
You know, we don't
Life started
we don't
declining.
empathize with each other anymore.
Yeah, but I warn that an organism must preserve its own life. The way we are going, are we preserving our own life?
That's a big question.
Anyway, tax and banks, what is the problem?
Complaints, 22, you know,
Yeah, but-
Nigerians want to, there's so much confusion, Nigerians want to know more.
But at least nobody has lost money to one tax deduction yet.
No,
The
no.
fear was Ayodele and his team, what were they up to?
Yes.
Then go begin to come out our money. The man has explained, no.
No,
At the
sir.
end of the financial year, we look at all the things that came into your account. The ones that you used to work, tell us. You will fill your own tax form.
Yeah.
Work out your own tax. It's only when they feel it's not quite accurate, they come in. They have made it easy for everybody. You can contest figures with them, and it's going to happen at the end of the financial year.
And I think the awareness is actually working.
It's
because
working.
More Nigerians.
The
now
information
are
is out
at
there.
rest.
You
Yes.
just go, it's at the fingertips. Just go click,
That's
go to the
it.
website, and you get all the information.
Fear of the unknown, it almost develops into paranoia.
But you know, when it comes to reading, it's always a problem.
Don't tell me that if you want to deal with Nigerians, you hide
It's
something in a book.
in a book, and you know they won't.
They are saying here that Nigeria's debts soar, 31% of budget committed to loans. And I say, DMO, Debt Management Office, are we in trouble? You see, I tell journalists to always pick out the agency responsible for something and keep on, you know, hammering them. That is the way to get this country to work. But these days, they are telling you about who defected and who didn't defect. Leaving matters that concern the people. Don't
Anyway.
say that I'm attacking our clan. Oh.
Anyway, your friend is says he's going to work for the president in 2027.
Look, Wike is my friend, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you see, the problem is that when you're my friend, that is when you actually become somebody I criticize all the time, because I love you. I said the denouement of all this. I said the end game of all this may not be in Wike's favor. Now he's clinging to the president. I pray it's not a drowning man will catch a straw. May Wike not find himself drowning, God forbid. But he must have to acclimatize with the party structure and with his love to return Mr. President, which is legitimate as a wish, you know. It is just those things he does that might detract from his efforts that I warn about. Otherwise, I call Wike the roadmaster. Talk Nadu.
Because he has opened the roads leading to your village, right?
No. Okay, no. The Apo Kerishi Road. No. Actually, the contract has just been rewarded to SCC because the contractor handling it was not satisfying the FCT minister. And I say kudos to the FCT minister. When I just said now talk Nadu, it seemed as if I was being a sycophant towards Wike. So he wants that road inaugurated maybe before August or so.
Okay.
I pray that God helps him.
August
realize
this year?
August is almost here. Before you know it.
One good news.
Before you can say June, May. Go on.
FCT police arrest 3 suspects linked to Abuja's lawyers.
You know, it is not only when it happens in the US and TV cameras pick them up and they get them after 2 hours, we should applaud. For people who are not technologically well equipped as we are, I dare say that this is something commendable.
Very, very.
We pray that they are the real suspects because police could arrest and later find out, no, these are the wrong people. I pray that these are the right suspects, and I pray that justice will be done at the end of the day.
Exactly. And INEC is insisting no LP candidate for February 21 area council polls in Abuja.
Well, if their records don't show any registration for anything and all that, I have not read the story. Let me not speculate.
Yeah,
they must have a reason for saying that.
Yeah.
When we read it up, we'll get to know. Yes.
When you read it up, you get to know.
Yeah.
Naira seems to be gaining ground against the dollar in the early 2026.
Well, yes, it's gaining grounds around one ground, you know, in the sport. Sometimes it's 455, sometimes it's a 1455.
Today
sometimes
it's 1416.
I tell you now. That one place they gain the ground.
When the business,
I will be excited when you say that 200 naira is off.
In the business engine, they are saying is 1424.
It's still that same on this. Una no do running on the spot for primary school.
We did now. I still do it as part of my exercise.
That's why you look so trim.
I still skip.
I like that. You don't know what we called it in primary school? Speaking. I didn't know it was skipping.
It was skipping. Well, let's talk about
Chimamanda's son. You guys are leaving that out.
No, we're getting to that.
It's okay. I didn't know we had
wanted to take it last, sort of, because we've talked about doctors and all that, and it's so unfortunate that she had to lose her child.
It's really unfortunate. And I don't like the story surrounding it. Again, it goes back to how mindful are we with the stethoscope, with the scalpel, and the, and all that. I've had an experience in hospital. I don't like using my personal experience to talk about things. Because to tell you the truth, when I get to hospital, I find out that I settle quarrels between patients and medical staff, knowing what the medical staff are going through. You know my story. You do. I'm preparing for a third surgery, But it does not, you see, a journalist should try to remove his emotions from the fact of his story. I pray that hospital staff have enough of what they need to think like normal human beings and serve us correctly.
You're right, Chooks. Actually, on Friday we had them here, and they had to just relay what they go through in order to take care of patients. There is no equipment, no medical equipment. They are so frustrated.
The other time I asked you to go to the major hospitals, government-owned, and find out the ones that still have the X-ray unit working.
So many
maybe it's just their trauma that has an X-ray, because accident victims must have something. Otherwise, the general one, the one for the general people, go and check whether they work.
And and something that the consultant said really shocked me. He said, we are saying that Nigerian doctors are jackpying. So they are not jackpying because of maybe salary. They are jackpying because
benefits. They are not.
No, it's
lack
because
of
they are
working tools.
Fulfillment. They are not fulfilled.
They are not.
Put it this way.
Yeah.
When a professional is too suffocated within the space of work and does not realize what is innate in him, what he already knows because of external factors, he's a most disgruntled and dissatisfied man.
I'm so happy that you are not disgruntled, and you always come here so happy, and you lighten up this space for us. Thank you so much, Chooks. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you.
And Chelsea will go down on Wednesday.
Nigeria will succeed. Nigeria will survive.
Oh, well. We are running like
I'm not talking about Chelsea or Arsenal now.
We are Nigeria anytime, any day.
Our player that went to Lumbamba. that man went very sad, but our player went as it.
We'll take a break now. When we return, Good Morning Nigeria will kickstart. Stay with us.
Terracube. Unwrap joy. Unleash taste.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, NTA remains Nigeria's trusted voice. To our partners, government agencies, corporate bodies, political parties, and religious institutions, thank you. And to our millions of viewers, you are the reason we serve. Through every moment, big and small, we tell Nigeria's story with pride, balance, and integrity. As the new year begins, expect more, better programs, innovative storytelling, clearer signals, and fantastic broadcast deliveries that meet global standards. Together, we move forward with stories that matter. Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest network. You can't beat the reach.
Let's go, darling. Mirror, mirror. I like what I see. Can't get enough of me. I feel like a darling. I feel like a darling. Mirror, mirror.
Darling Braid. Wear the latest styles that make you feel like a darling.
Once upon a time, there was a land plagued by blandness. Food had lost its flavor and there was nothing left to savor. Just then, the tastemaker arrives to restore taste to this land of blandness. All she did was sprinkle, stir, and serve. And from that day on, they knew one truth. All they need is sprinkle, stir, serve.
Tastemaker.
It's time to honor the bravery and sacrifice of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Join us for the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Grand Patron of the Nigerian Legion, invites you to a series of events as we mark 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day from January 9th to January 15th, 2026. Monday, January 12th, National Symposium Lecture at the Defense College, Abuja, 10 a.m. Tuesday, January 13th, Dinner and Award Night at the Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja, 7 p.m. Wreath-laying ceremony will take place on Thursday, January 15th, 8 a.m. at the National Arcade, Abuja. Let us come together to celebrate our compatriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. Join us in appreciating the Nigerian Armed Forces. Announcer Richard Filagwa, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense.
The world needs moms. With a splash of golden terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra Oil. Pour pure love.
Africa, a land of passion, pride, and power. Across this vast continent, the game runs deep. In every back alley, beach, and pitch, a billion hearts beat to one rhythm, the Africa Cup of Nations. We remember the kings of Cairo, when Zambia shocked the world, when Nigeria soared, the dreamers of Yaoundé, when Senegal stood tall, last time the elephants rose. From the thunder of Casablanca to the lights of Marrakech, the stage is set in Morocco. This is where the past meets the present. Where new stories begin. 24 nations, one trophy, but no script. The drums return. The ground shakes. The continent rises. This is AFCON 2025.
32 matches, every Super Eagles game, all live.
This is ours.
Afro Sport, your freedom of sport.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Rivers State is navigating deep rivers of political turmoil, and recent developments there are capturing everyone's attention. That's the focus of our conversation this morning. But before we bring in our guest, let's hear this background report from Timothy Yusuf.
The political crisis in Rivers State has been escalating, with the latest development being the notice of impeachment served to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Odu. Findings show that this move is the third attempt to remove the governor from office in less than 3 years. The current situation stems from a past struggle between Governor Fubara and the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Speaker Martin Sameule, who is loyal to former Governor Nyesom Wike, now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. The Assembly has cited alleged misconduct and constitutional breaches, including failure to present the 2026 budget, as grounds for impeachment. In March 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, suspending Governor Fubara, his deputy, and the Assembly members for 6 months. The state of emergency was lifted in September 2025, but tensions remained. The impeachment process has sparked reactions from various groups, with some supporting the move as a constitutional necessity, while others warn it could destabilize the state. The All Progressives Congress APC leaders are intervening to resolve the crisis, and President Tinubu has also been urged to intervene in resolving the lingering political crisis. What are the implications of the impeachment process? How are stakeholders reacting to all the lingering political crises? Over now to our guest in the studio for more.
Thank you, Timothy Yusuf, for that background report. Now let's bring in our guests, and they are seated here in the studio. We have regulars this morning, and first of all, let me introduce Ezenwa Nwago. He's the chairman, Partners for Electoral Reforms. Welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Hi,
Compliments
Chief.
of the season. Hi, Chief. Also joining us in the studio is Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst. Good to have you join us. Compliments of the season.
Same to you, Juma. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning.
Also joining us here is Dr. Abdulrazak Saliu Ibrahim. He's of the Department of Political Science and International Relations, now University. Dr. Ibrahim, it's good to have you join us.
Good morning.
All right. And Happy New Year to you. All right, good. Joining us from our Port Harcourt studio is Professor Patrick Nwoyo Bugi, a Professor of Administration and Information Management at Rivers State University, Port Harcourt. Prof, thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year to you. Good morning to you, Prof.
Good morning to you. Thank you. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Let's stay with you because, what we're discussing today is there at your domain there. Late last year when the emergency was lifted and the governor came back, we saw the two actors coming back, and even the state governor was in Abuja to even cut tape for commissioning of a project, and everybody was jubilant that peace has finally returned to Rivers State. But the recent development is, is quite worrisome. What exactly do you think is the problem? Is it a political disagreement or a full-blown constitutional emergency?
Thank you. For us in Rivers State, we also are shocked by that development because we suffered a great deal during the era of the 6 months emergency rule. That
the differences between the two actors has been resolved. But period that the same thing say lingers on. From what we saw with FCT minister, having rallies from local council to local council, addressing, and we also heard one side of the story about agreements not being kept. However, as Rivers people, we do not know the contents of an agreement that should be side of the House of Assembly, State of Assembly. We heard them read. The governor has demonstrated some misconduct. What really constituted the misconduct is yet to be known. But shock as all of you are seen and heard.
Okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate your opening comments there. We'll return to you as the conversation goes deeper. Let's return to the studio where our guests are also seated, and I'll begin with Ezenwa. Ezenwa, let's get your opinion about what is happening in Rivers State. Is it good for internal democracy?
Well, when you situate the conversation around good and bad, you drag us into the moral arena. And one of the things that I think needs to happen is to be emotionally distant, to be able to engage the issue from a much more analytical rather than emotional level. So on the face of it, it's a play of Godfather and Godson. And the difference between a Godfather and a kingmaker is that the Godfather invests, is an investor. Now, you could then be thinking in terms of whether he's a negative or positive investor. So in the particular case of Rivers State, we do know that the present governor was a minion of the current minister of the FCT. We observed elections. Through the process of that election, we knew that you were not seeing Fubara at the center stage. You saw it was as if the FCT minister was campaigning for a third term. That investment had consequences. And the consequences could be this play in all the conversations. You keep hearing about agreements. Jumai, we were not there. We don't, up to today, we don't know the content of that agreement. And that content has not been made public. But what is important is that somebody entered into an agreement. If you didn't want to, if you thought that you would dishonor the agreement, you should openly come and say, these agreements that I entered, I will not be able to. But between the two of them, that play has continued. I don't like people who dishonor agreements, personally. I think it has something to, it devalues you as a person.
What if the agreement is to the detriment of the people of Rivers?
Why did you enter the agreement that is detriment to the people in the first instance? It's, you don't moralize these conversations. You know, if you knew it was, to the detriment of the people, the first thing you do is to sidestep yourself. You sidestep the conversation and say, no, I don't want to be part of this. It's not a must to be a governor. And it's not a must to be minister. It's not a must to be anything that you know that would devalue the things that are intrinsic for you as a person. So people like Fubara, I'm sorry, I don't like people who dishonor the agreements in the way that I have seen it happen in Rivers. But it's a characteristics of the Rivers politics. If you start from Odili down to Amechi, down to Wike, and you will see the trace of, this dishonoring agreements and coming to play. But in this particular case, Mr. Fubara was politically naive. He didn't have an army. He didn't have a financial pipeline. He didn't have the structure to be able to engage this godfather the way he has done. And he's paying dearly for it.
Or the Rivers people are paying dearly for it.
No, they've been paying. They've been paying. They've never been in the conversation. Let's not pretend. Whether today or yesterday, the Rivers people are completely absent from the conversations. They are just canons. You know, they are not part of the conversation. The people who have been playing, listen, when Dr. Peter Odili became governor, the first thing that he became imperial, he wanted to be president. When Amechi became governor, he wanted to be president. And the resources that is being used to drive these ambitions are the resources of the Rivers people. Where is go to the Rivers, forget the propaganda, the resources. When you do service delivery outcomes and the resources that has come to Rivers people in the last 25 years, go to the Rivers, leave Port Harcourt, get into the suburbs, get into the subnationals of those states and see whether there's a match. But what you see is that people own billions of naira, which they give vehicles to emirs, they bankroll political parties outside of their states, and all of these conflicts is about control of resources for the person. So I don't think the Rivers people come into the conversation. It's a play of godfather and godson, and I think what they should do, which I have canvassed, is get into the room and tell yourself some home truths and resolve this issue. Because at the end of the day, interventions have come in from both the president, outside of the president, but these two people understand what is at stake, and they are the ones who own the key to the resolution of that crisis, in my own view.
Okay, thank you very much, Ezewa. Agreement must be, followed, and, Jide, let's bring you into this conversation. Is it a matter of agreement or about governance failure, or is it a constitutional or a personal power struggle? What exactly do you see in this whole scenario?
Ademola, thank you. Once again, good morning, Nigerians. What is happening is a potpourri of issues. I'm not sure whether the agreement we are talking about is even written agreement. It could just be a conversational agreement. But if you follow the trajectory of what has happened in the last 3 years, we had consistently said Fubara's mortal sin was trying to hijack his political structure. He wasn't talking agreement that time. This whole agreement was for PDP, his fight with PDP. When they just recently imported agreement between Wike and Fubara, in this whole lead up to 2027, what Wike had openly said was Fubara was trying to hijack his political structure, and I was not going to allow that. And you will remember the whole conversation about local government. When the tenure of the previous one ended, Fubara, selected caretaker committee. Then, of course, it became an issue of litigation. It is only in Rivers there are 2 local government elections within 1 year. Because the one that Fubara superintended was nullified by the court, if you recall, after the Supreme Court decision of July 11, 2024, that election was not conducted with due process. So they had to have another one last October, where Wike's allies went into APC and he delivered 20 out of 23 local government to APC and retained 3 local government for himself, Obiakwa and 1 or 2 other local government. So the trajectory of what is happening now, without any pretense, I don't think it has to do with agreement of any sort. Okay. Beyond the fact that this guy has betrayed me, has tried to usurp my political structure, and he is not going to get a second term. So what Wike is trying to do is to give Ambode treatment to Fubara. Recall what happened in Lagos. When Ambode, the GAC, Governance Advisory Council in Lagos, said Ambode, former governor, was not going to get a second term. And in spite of the intervention of former President Muhammadu Buhari, he didn't get a second term. And part of the rationale then was that Ambode took job from
most of the political leaders,
some of the godfathers in Lagos, like waste disposal, solid disposal, and all of that. And he was arrogant and this and that. So they brought in Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and he's doing second term. So the same treatment was Fubara tried to exert his independence too early, barely 6 months in office in 2023. And the assumption was wanting to hijack that political structure was to his advantage. Perhaps, because I've also seen some media discussions around, even way back after the reinstatement from 6 months suspension. On Channels TV, let me be specific, Seun Okinbaloye of Channels asked FCT minister, is it true that Fubara was not going to do a second term? He said, who told you? And this is how you people speculate. But what has come forth this last week was that this same man, Wike, is saying Fubara will not do second term. And why? He said if he does second term, he will bury him politically. I don't know whether many of us, it was in the open. He said if this man do a second term, I will be buried politically, and I cannot allow that to happen. So 2-3 days after, you saw an impeachment notice served on the governor. So it's all about interest. And what Ezenwa said about relevance, political relevance beyond 2027. Today, Wike is a minister of the Federal Republic on the basis that he was able to deliver Rivers State to the current president. And if Fubara becomes the nucleus upon which the president will look up to for 2027 in winning Rivers, then what is the relevance of keeping Wike as FCT minister when he's not even a member of their party? When people in APC were not happy with his emergence as a minister. And so my own submission, I'm not saying there could not be other reasons. So people have talked about, whether he was supposed to be making some remittances to Wike, but the one that is blatant, that is in the open, is about Wike wanting continuing relevance. And he feels that if peradventure, by whatever means, Fubara gets a second term, he will go into political oblivion. Now, let me break it down for those who do not see the handwriting. When they served the impeachment notice, they said, this man has refused to present the budget 2026 to the House. And this man will convert Rivers money into dollars and dole it out. And is he the first governor to be doing that? In every budget, there is welfare. There is no governor, not even in Rivers, nationally, that doesn't give money to visitors. We remember when Peter Odili was there, people were calling him Dodatus. Remember when Nigeria was playing, there was a match Nigeria was playing, Super Eagles. He pledged them, is it $3,000 or $5,000 each if they win one match or one competition like that. We all know how these things are done. You call a dog a bad name in order to hang it. Remember before the service of the second impeachment notice last year, Fubara was trying to present the same 2025 budget to the assembly. They were playing hide and seek. You remember there was a particular day he went to the assembly complex and they were not there. They locked him out and said, you cannot just rush in. You communicated, you should have waited for us to respond. It's all politics. The politics of it, which people are trying to shy away from, because when you look at it from the point of what is misconduct, unfortunately, the Constitution does not also give what is tantamount to gross misconduct. It is what in the eye of the State Assembly amounts to gross misconduct, that is gross misconduct. But now, assuming that it's Wike and Fubara that have issues, why bring in Professor Ngozi Odu, the deputy governor? When they impeach, when Anambra impeached Peter Obi, they dealt with Peter Obi. They left Vaji Etiaba, who then became the acting governor. But in this case, the Rivers State House of Assembly is saying both Wike, both Fubara and Odu must go. Now, if they succeed in impeaching the two of them, assuming that Fubara and Wike had an agreement, let them sort themselves out. Leave the woman out of here. Have you ever seen the woman grant any press interview? In the 2-3 years they've been there, she's been silent. Even when the governor defected, she did not defect with the governor until last Monday. The SSG did not defect with the governor until last Monday. Now, why do you have to rope her in and said Fubara and the deputy must go? Because they want to pave way for the speaker, Martins Ameule, to become the acting governor. And I think it's from Obiakwa local government, which is the own local government of the FCT minister and one of his core loyalists. So they want to be in control of the resources of the state. And perhaps he will get nominated. Don't forget that he himself is now an APC member. When they have issues like this, the natural thing, if there is no motive behind it, the natural thing will have been to revert to the party, respect the party leadership. This our governor, this is what he's doing. Nobody has, even when Ajibola Bashiru, Senator Ajibola Bashiru is the national secretary of APC, said, oh, in APC, governor is the leader. So when Fubara said, I'm 001 in APC, and Wike said, you cannot be 001. But Wike is not a member of APC. But you know, Ajibola Bashiru now had to say, no, in our party, this is what did Wike say? Wike said, mind your own business.
Rivers is no-go area.
It's a no-go area. What you see is what you get. That issue, he said he was even going to complain to the president on the statement made by, and that tells you the whole story. That beyond papering over what could have happened, what could not have happened, it's about political relevance of one individual. Wanting to remain beyond 2027.
Let me pause you, Jide. Let me pause you, Jide. And let me remind our viewers that we're expecting your comments and questions for our guest here in the studio as we discuss the political issue in Rivers State. Doctor, you've been listening to the other guests talking about it. There's a lot of drama happening in Rivers State right now, defections, godfatherism and all that. The question comes to mind, godfatherism has been a bane or, choking democracy in Nigeria, the way they played out, making agreements between two people, which Agent Y is saying he does not support somebody who does not, follow up on his agreement when he makes it, and that is the promise actually, and I sort of agree with him, not on the way. So in your opinion now, has godfatherism finally, consumed party politics, party discipline in Nigeria?
Thank you for having me once more. I want to put it into proper perspective, because if you look at democracy in itself, there are principles that guides democracy. Actually, the mandates of who assume any political position is supposed to be determined by the people, that is the citizens and the indigenous of the state. Bringing in the godfathers, yes, there are some political actors that play key roles in helping people to assume position. But in these 21st centuries, there are implications on the type of godfatherism politics that we are witnessing in Nigeria. Because people are learning, people are watching, and the global community is equally watching. Which type of democracy is being played in Africa? And the political culture and the nature of the way people are seeing democracy to be an avenue whereby everyone can have his voices and then his rights being guaranteed. If this is allowed to continue, there are several implications that is going to dent the nature and the image of our politics and act of politicking. So, some of the implications are this. The political culture that we are going to be building and behavior is going to be that even those watching from other states, learning from other states, we see that yes, I can build up on this in achieving our aims and their own aims and objectives. Again, moving forward, if this is allowed to go on without being resolved, there is going to be the citizens or the people of River State are going to be suffering. Imagine for over 3 years, issues that have been discussed is just resolving around who seized and controlled the political structure of a state, not minding the demands and the yearnings of the people of Rivers. If they can learn from other states, because I want to put them like the mega cities, Rivers, Lagos, Abuja, Kano, you can see the infrastructural development in those states because the governors are relatively being focused, and the nature of crisis and tensions that have unraveled or that is unfolding in River State now is bringing a lot of challenges to their economic development, is creating unnecessary tension, and is equally affecting us because we are part and parcel of this country called Nigeria. One of the reasons that President Bola Tinubu gave for the impeachment is that there is threatening the national economy because there are destruction to the oil pipelines. And away from that, you can see that if this is allowed to further go on, then it will now be a function of, okay, who gets what, when and how is going to be determined by only the godfathers that are influencing the politics of a state. I think the president needs to come in again swiftly more than before, and then since it's a party politics there, and I think there is a structure within the APC family that issues that are internal need to be resolved before bringing it to the public domain, and then it's shameful.
It's shameful.
Because people are watching, and then instead of us to be hearing the constructions and then the inauguration of, let's say, laudable projects, we are only resolved, and look at the energy that is being channeled into this. Instead of them to sit down and think how to move the state forward, they are now thinking of how to reconstruct, how to reevaluate, how to bring the warring parties together. Just imagine the complex that was destroyed. Over close to 20 billion is being reissued for reconstruction. This is not a new project, and we think that the River State have the mandate, then the people of River State have the mandate to take the into their hands by recalling some of their representatives that are not serving their interests.
Anyway, that's a big discussion because we have never seen that. But we're still waiting. But you've talked about the social and economic implication of this whole scenario on the rivers of on the part. But I still want to follow up on what you said. Can an agreement reached that is not backed by law be politically or morally binding in politics? We'll go to Rivers later, but I just want you to follow up on what you said. An agreement that is not backed by law, can it be politically or morally binding in politics?
Let's get this, because sometimes I think when we technicalize conversations, it becomes very difficult to unpack. The first thing is, the whole doctor was talking about democratic processes. It is already circumvented when there is no contest. When you sit in your house, an individual buys the forms and says you are going to House of Assembly. You are going to this place. You are going to House of Rep. You will be governor. And criminalizes aspiration. We all keep quiet at that level when we take away contest from our politics. Once there is no contest, you don't talk about law. Because in the first instance, shouldn't there be proper primaries? Did you see any in Rivers State?
But they said there was.
There was no, it's been openly said that this governor was hiding away from EFCC when the campaigns were going on, when the whole primary process was going on. All the people who wanted to contest were asked to quieten their aspirations for an individual. That was the time you torpedoed the whole electoral process and took the people out. You removed the people from the aspiration. So whether it is morally binding, if there is no law backing it up, is first. When I say Demola, you are in NTA, and then one morning, sorry, which state are you from now?
I'm from Kwara State.
Okay, somebody now says, Demola, you are going to, I'll make you governor of Kwara State. From this NTA, you become governor. All the people who wanted to run election, the aspirations were criminalized, and some of them were even physically threatened to run out of the state. And you become governor, and you start talking about law and talking about morality. Where were you when the whole process was torpedoed? The challenge of the political conversation that we have in Nigeria is that we don't start from the beginning. Our processes are not rooted in democratic ethos and practice. In which constitution of which political party did you see governor being leader of the political party? Where? Which party?
It is assumed.
So if you are talking about law, that's why I brought that. So Mr. President Obasanjo came in 1999 and ambushed the political party structure completely, took it over, started holding meetings inside the villa, party meetings inside the villa. We didn't see anything wrong with that. We felt that was okay. The governors also ambushed the party structures. Was that what it was when we had Chief Adisa Akinloye? Didn't we see President Shehu Shagari sit in the while the party leader sat in the president sat in when we changed those whole processes was the time that the rain started beating us. And then today we are crying as if Nigeria just happened. The journey to ambush, to take away party structure. People can't even build careers in political parties. People can't say the parties are no longer what it is. Because today you join the party in the morning, you can become presidential candidate of another party in the evening. There are waivers. We don't find those things objectionable. And if
Chief, don't say we don't find it objectionable. The problem is not people. It's not that people are not speaking out.
Yes,
it's because people who are speaking out are in the minority. And people who benefit.
Let me run down.
People who benefit from the system are the ones that keep showing.
Let me run down these thoughts. Let me run it down so that you understand. You see, the challenge is if you follow conversations in the media around these issues, you see the sentimentalization of the conversation around, like we are saying, the deep-rooted crisis of how we organize our processes, our elections, internal party democracy. When somebody is saying, I don't believe this place is a family. We are seeing that, this Rivers now is renewed hope family. We are not doing political party here. And carry the chairman of one political party, the chairman of another political party are with him in a rally. And those people, the parties themselves, have not cautioned that man The APC, the PDP, where those people claim to represent, and they are doing rainbow coalition, in quotes. You sit down and design a rainbow coalition. Which party structure organizes and recognizes a rainbow coalition? The absurdities, the political absurdities that we see, if we want to deal with them, they are not just reverse issues.
Okay.
They are the ambush of structures, the ambush of platforms, and personalization
by politicians
of power by individuals, not just in Rivers State, where governors have become emperors, and they are what during election they buy up the form for their own political party and give individuals. You go as an individual to say you want to run election, you cannot find form to buy.
Okay, let's hold you there, and we'll return to you. And let's return to Port Harcourt, where Prof is still there. Prof, from the submission by the guest in the studio, now we know that godfatherism has sort of is a problem in politics, and Rivers State is not out of it. But we need to talk about the people. In Rivers State, we've seen this drama play out. What is the mood in Rivers State over this impeachment that has been, given to Fubara, and what is their reaction? What are they doing? And does this development, in your own opinion, sort of strengthen or weaken, democratic accountability?
The first thing we need to address here is I listened to most of the commentators speak through there, and they are saying, somebody mentioned the fact that we need to separate moral from governance. For me, governance is about stewardship to the people. And so if stewardship is in question, there's a problem to morality. We had cases of governors living, disagreeing with the one that comes in. We've had those cases even in Akwa Ibom State. And with the case of Akpabio and his predecessor, now these issues has not, morphed into a state where the state has to die because somebody has an interest. But the case of Rivers is very peculiar. Odili brought in Amechi. Odili never wrote agreement for Amechi. Amechi never wrote agreement for Wike. Now this is the first time we are saying agreement, and we are sitting down and saying agreement is agreement. It's become worrisome on Rivers people. Now development for years gone, and we are saying, see, it's so bad that we don't see governance as a people-driven thing, but we see governance as individual business. Now, a popular scholar from India, Nehru, once said in the theory of scientific humanism, he said, if you have power, the power you have is the people. When the people withdraw power from you, you have no power. That's the perspective I want to take this discourse to. If our leadership, political leadership, begin to see themselves as the only issue, the only benefit of states, then there's a problem to humanity. Why don't we jettison our personal position? Like the Demola was discussing, losing my political relevance. Is your political relevance more greater than the relevance of the life of a people? These are the things we need to ask ourselves as citizens of this country. I don't want to go into the trajectory of cases of how you brought me in and how you never brought me in. Even as we sit down in this studio, even in employment, somebody informs us about employment and we apply for them. Information is very important. Somebody must tell you something so you can move towards it. And that's how life goes. One helps the other. But if you help me, don't make yourself a lord over my life. There should be understanding on how life should be governed. The major critical issue in Rivers State is not about governance. It's about politics, the Nigerian definition of politics, as the last speaker was saying, that even across the country, is politics has become so messy that the people have been dropped, and what we see is the kingmakers' interest. Now, what we need to do is, first, there's a failure of a judiciary in this country. Because if we have judiciary, all these things that happen will not happen. Now, there's also a governance failure from the center, from political parties. Political parties sometimes sit idle and watch individuals grow beyond them. And when individuals grow beyond political parties, then there is no party anymore. What reigns is the whims and caprice of the bigger individual that dictates what a party does. What are the party laws? Where are the party ideologies that bind members? Is it one man that decides what parties do now? So Rivers people are hopeless now. We are crying to Tinubu, and the question they want to ask us now is, the truth that was settled last time, where were the conditions in the discussion about settlement of those truths between Wike and Fubara? If the matter was appropriately addressed, then parties should follow, if it's a political solution, follow Tinubu's decision, and things work well for Rivers people. Now, like I have mentioned before, we say there is agreement. Was it part of the Tinubu agreement from Abuja before the call of the emergency? So let us go back to what has happened before, how you brought me in. Let's start from when we settled this agreement. Now, just note, we need to follow them. What the presidency tell us. And so let's follow in that margin. As assembly members, let us also be careful about what you do. Just like somebody mentioned here, you want to impeach, you impeach the governor, impeach deputy on one rule. Now, what that means is an interest is in the waiting. Remove these people so that I can take all. And if we allow the system for one man to take all, are we really working as a state? I mentioned here, I always reference Akwa Ibom State and Rivers State. They have the same resource. But if you watch Akwa Ibom, they disagree, but they are growing in stride, development, investment. You don't see any man at war with each other. Because the way I see them, they see the people, not themselves. But in River State, the leadership we have see themselves, not the people. Until the laws, the judiciary is seen to be active, we'll be seeing this happen in River State. Until Tinubu comes back and make a definite position for all parties. Because he's the president of this country. And he cannot sit down and allow this thing happen. Am I going back to him to settle a truth for the second time? Something he has done earlier. What has gone wrong? Passage of budget is a misconduct. As trivial as that. These are the issues that we need to address if we want Rivers case to be addressed, to be solved.
I'd like to stay with him. I like the fact that you mentioned the judiciary here now, because they play a very important role in how democracy play out. So, in your opinion, could this situation, end up in the courts, and what would be the likely legal implications?
I'm also worried about the judicial system, because if we have a judiciary that is standing for the common people, for morality, I would say yes. If there's a judicial legal battle, we can get a way out. But I'm not very hopeful about what comes of judiciary. In a scenario where judiciary has been owned, as an enterprise of politicians, so there is nothing we can do if we go to the court. But I think the best bet is for Tinubu to step in with the iron hand now. At least let the system go through peacefully so we can have a peaceful election. And I'm not subscribing to judiciary. I'm not, and I would never do that. But I want the same Tinubu, who is the father of all of us, to call both parties this time, not about a settlement, but giving them marching orders to keep peace in Rivers State for the sake of Rivers people.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. There. We'll get back to you. We already have some messages from our viewers which we would like to read out so that our guests can respond to them. Ahmed Baba Dikwa from Maiduguri said, River State faces a grave threat. To avert this, we urgently need the elders and leaders to intervene and call their sons to order now. Guide them away from this destructive path and towards reason before the state is condemned to another era of regret. Time to act is now. It says, Professor Abdulrazak has spoken my mind. Fubara has a covenant with the Rivers people and not with any godfather or some phantom agreement. This one is from DK Chima from Rivers State. So good morning to you all. The political development playing out is just about trust, dependable, and liability. The issue of agreement is a fallout of trust. The FCT minister sponsored all the electioneering process to make Fubara the governor. You ask yourself, how can that be without an agreement attached to it? Especially where you have several strong political bulldozer contestants in the state. Jide, I want you to respond to that. And also, I want to ask, is it democratic for a sitting governor to operate under conditions that allegedly deny him a political autonomy?
No, that is a moral question. Let's go back in history. Chris Ngige and Chris Uba in Anambra. There was an agreement. We know about that. Somebody bankroled your election, and he said, you have to pay me back X amount. And he signed an irrevocable standing order that there should be deduction from the state FAC allocation to the godfather's account. And when he reneged, after becoming a governor, what happened to him? He was abducted. The sitting governor was abducted. Wow. You know, remember the Okija shrine, that they even went and sealed the agreement in a shrine. That's Nigeriana for you. So, but if Ngige did not pull out of that to unshackle himself, perhaps Anambra would have been worse off for it now. He lost eventually. He lost the position at the tribunal. Obi came in, and the trajectory of development has been upward since that. And Ngige also went on from that to become senator, to become minister. His life is better off, isn't it? The issue for me, and I mean, I disagree with Chief when he said people are quiet, people are quiet. We are being uncharitable to ourselves. Some of us spoke out. I wrote severally in my column, shouting as if I own Nigeria, that this is not right. Many other civil society activists spoke out, but our voices are drowned because these things are done nicodemously. When they sit in the hotel lobby or wherever, or in the room of the godfather, you and I are not there.
In the dead of the night.
We cannot even influence anything. Beyond when we see the manifestation as it has happened, we have to speak out. So the fact that people speak out, but they are, and this also is traceable to party funding. Party funding and political corruption also seeps into this whole conversation. One individual is bankrolling the political party, and he's telling everybody that cares to listen, nobody can expel me, nobody can suspend me. I hold this party, I invested so much in this party. Was it his personal front that he was investing in the party? Was it not the state fund? Have we not seen the repercussion? How that party has come to be, to the extent that the party now is in a quandary. They cannot even sponsor candidates if election were to be held in the next 6 months. Because now we have seen how INEC is saying we cannot recognize any of the factions in this party. It has to do with party funding. And that's why party leaders may not be able to speak out. The moment you allow some godfathers or influentials to bankroll, pay the salaries of staff of the party. Bankroll the congresses and convention, and then the person wants to say, Demola or Juma, you be the chairman. And you say, no, you cannot nominate the chairman. I say, oh, really? When I was funding, see, what killed PDP today, is it not power struggle about who controls the National Working Committee? If you are in control of the National Working Committee, it's in NWC that will organize party primaries. And whoever controls the NWC will ensure that his own loyalists emerge at the primaries. Forget about delegates and all the, whether they do open primary or whether they do, what's it called, direct or indirect or consensus. You will find out that that's why there is a control of who is in charge of NWC. Because the moment you own the NWC of a party, you are almost 50% way through in getting your people the ticket of the party. And it's the ticket. Now, the judiciary has come in to say, you know, about nomination, we cannot determine who is the candidate of the party. It's the party that determines who is this candidate. And we have seen where there are contentions about whether due process was followed or not. The court says, well, party is an internal affairs of this party. So that is why people are losing faith in the judiciary. That why will you say this is an internal, when there are party guidelines, electoral guidelines, that says you buy the nomination form for X amount, you do screening, and look at what has happened in Ekiti and Osun under APC. They've screened out the juggernauts who can give the preferred anointed candidate run for his money. In both Ekiti APC and in Osun APC. Then when there were people who were grumbling, the president called all of them to Abuja and said, okay, sorry, let's solve this. That's how it starts. Imposition. Deliberately, somebody buy a 50 million naira form, and then one nebulous reason or the other, you said they are disqualified. And you allow the so-called anointed or preferred consensus candidate. It's not even consensus, because if there's a disagreement after the whole exercise, then there is no consensus. But because there is an anointed person you already have, which is what Ezenwa was speaking to, when you bulldoze every other opposition and said, this is my next governor. You know, Fayose tried to do that when he was leaving, and he said, Professor, what is the name of this professor from OAU, who was his deputy? I recall that I went through Ekiti that time, and there were already billboards. Ekiti people, this is your next governor. The election has not been held. Ekiti people, this is your next governor. But unfortunately for the guy, Fayemi defeated him in that contest. And Professor Eleka, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Fayemi defeated him. And after Fayemi was able to influence the emergence of Biodun Oyebanji, who is now, you can also see the way they paved way for Oyebanji's second term. And he got the ticket. So, you see, when you fund party, the way you fund party determines whether that party, the way the NWC of the party emerges, determines whether they will be able to stand for the truth, whether they will be able to call their members who erred, call them to order. But when it comes to issue around somebody throwing money around, deciding to buy up, something happened which I found very, very, I couldn't understand. When Senator Ajibola Bashiru said, the governor is our 001, and somebody said, hey, keep short there. The peace you people are enjoying in Osun, you don't know how it came about. And I was like, from Rivers to Osun. What is the nexus? So there is pregnant that, and you also remember when there was issue between the person and Bauchi state governor. He said, I will put fire in Bauchi that you will not even know what has hit you. So you find out that when you have somebody who has a war chest and could influence things even beyond the boundaries of his state, you have laid a dynamite, you have laid what's it called? Is it dynamite or landmines?
Landmines.
And that is what is happening. So we need to sanitize the entire political process. How candidates emerge? Do we allow for competitive primaries? Do we all this babasokwe politics of the elders have decided this person must be the next governor, the next
I have to pause you there. My director has been saying we have to go on break. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.
The Renewed Hope Initiative RHI presents the RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow. This national competition is in 3 categories. The household category is a tree planting competition amongst 11 frontline states in northern Nigeria. Each participating household in Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara states will plant a minimum of 1 tree to qualify, with a video evidence of before and after the tree planting exercise. 20 million naira will be awarded to the best household. Submission deadline is 20th December 2026. Community category will see local governments, local communities, schools, and NGOs reclaim and transform degraded or abandoned areas such as dump sites, landfills, parks, and their likes into green, vibrant gardens, parks, and eco-friendly spaces. 50 million naira would be awarded to the overall best community group. Deadline for submission is 15th July 2026. States category will have all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, excluding Enugu State, have a chance to address the growing threats to environmental sustainability and cleanliness. States will be judged based on the number of trees planted on major roads and inner streets and how clean they are. 100 million naira will be awarded to the best performing state. Already, Enugu State has 100 million naira for being RHI's model green state due to its greenery and cleanliness. Video evidence must be submitted by participating states on or before 20th December 2026. All entries must be directed to RHI Office, State House, Abuja, or email rhi.greenchallenge@statehouse.gov.ng. RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
It is that time of the year again when we pause to say thank you for your trust, for your loyalty, and for staying with us every step of the way. Through the highs and the lows, the moments that mattered, the stories that shaped our nation. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, from compelling documentaries to quality entertainment, from public service information to stories that unite us as a nation. You made us your choice. We sincerely appreciate you. Our viewers, our partners, and our valued customers, thank you for your unwavering patronage throughout the year. And as we step into the new year, we are inspired to serve you better with greater dedication to professionalism, improved content, and stronger public service. NTA, trusted, authentic, reliable source of news, entertainment, and public service information. NTA. You can't beat the reach.
cube. Wrap joy. Unleash taste.
The Renewed Hope Initiative RHI presents the RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow. This national competition is in 3 categories. The household category is a tree planting competition amongst 11 frontline states in northern Nigeria. Each participating household in Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara states will plant a minimum of 1 tree to qualify, with a video evidence of before and after the tree planting exercise. 20 million naira will be awarded to the best household. Submission deadline is 20th December 2026. Community category will see local governments, local communities, schools, and NGOs reclaim and transform degraded or abandoned areas such as dump sites, landfills, parks, and their likes into green, vibrant gardens, parks, and eco-friendly spaces. 50 million naira would be awarded to the overall best community group. Deadline for submission is 15th July 2026. State category will have all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, excluding Enugu State, have a chance to address the growing threats to environmental sustainability and cleanliness. States will be judged based on the number of trees planted on major roads and inner streets and how clean they are. 100 million naira will be awarded to the best performing state. Already, Enugu State has 100 million naira for being RHI's model green state due to its greenery and cleanliness. Video evidence must be submitted by participating states on or before 20th December 2026. All entries must be directed to RHI Office, State House, Abuja, or email rhi.greenchallenge@statehouse.gov.ng. RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow.
Yeah, welcome back and watching Good Morning Nigeria, and we have our guests seated here in the studio. We're discussing the Rivers State Democratic Upheaval. Now, I have some questions and comments that came in from our guests, from our viewers, watching this program right now. Let me begin with the first one. He said Fubara should maintain any agreement reached. This will reduce political crisis in Rivers State. And Yusuf Abdul from Zaria said, my question is, now that politics here is all about state capturing, would you say our democracy is working? And the first, another one, Professor Jacob Yecho from Dutsenma in Katsina said, the first speaker was more objective and analytical. There was an agreement between the two. The agreement could even be that the Godfather wants to control the party structure, but Fubara reneged by insisting on control of the structure, hence the problem. So Fubara should come clean by telling the public the truth about their feud. And Bemi Nat from Kogi State said, the issue with Rivers State to me exposes extreme political and power greed of our politicians. Now, let's come to Doctor. Doctor, I've just read some of them. One of them is saying, now that politics is all about state capturing, would you say democracy is still working?
Yeah, I think this is relative because we cannot use just the River State scenario to judge the whole of the states across Nigeria. Having said that, democracy is working. However, is it working how it should? These are the questions that is begging for answer. In my previous comment, I said it. In democracy is based on principles. Those laid down principles are principles that are enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria. When there are problems, how to redress those problems are equally enshrined in the Constitution. So, are the River State people ready to take their destiny into their hands? If they are, then they can use the channel that is enshrined in the Constitution by making the moves, because If this is allowed to continue persistently, the implications, because in one of the analysis that I saw, that this might generate into ethnic tension. Fubara is coming from the riverine, and then I think from the Ijaw extract. The Ijaw people are saying it that this is over 24 years that the son of their soil from their own area will have the opportunity of becoming the governor. So you can see what started from the main capital is now degenerating into ethnic fusion or rift. So the president, as one of the speakers rightly captured it, need to come in swiftly and address this. Because if this is allowed to continue, you know there's this syndrome with Nigeria. Other states might copy, and then people will see it as the new norm. And this will not be good for our democracy. And the INEC also have a role to play in this regard, because voters' education need to be intensified for people to know their rights, to people to know how they can make maybe recalls, to engage the citizens. Because if they fail to do that, they were part and parcel of the elections. They've invested.
Do you think recall can be possible in Nigeria?
At least they move.
It has never worked, actually.
Yes, but if there is a move, you know, that it starts from a place. And if that is being done, at least they will know that, yes, the people are aware of their rights. And there might be support from some civil society groups. And as I already mentioned, if INEC is going to earn from the above, if Abuja is ready, if the president is ready, that yes, there should be, the process should be initiated, and this might reduce the tension, because it's unhealthy, it's uncalled for, and these are the major challenges that democracy is facing in Africa. The international community are not taking us serious, because by now we should be discussing about issues that will better our lives. Then how will the people we get to know more about the tenets of democracy and election and electioneering procedures? But energies are being channeled to this local and godfatherism politics. This should not be, and this is uncalled for. Rather.
It is uncalled for. Thank you so much, Doctor. Let's now begin to look for find a solution to this. How can we begin a reconciliation? Because we find out that most of the actors now are in APC, although we can see the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob in this whole issue. Now, but how do we begin to reconcile the factions now? What do you think can be done? Because we need peace and progress in Rivers State.
Well, see, godfatherism is not a Nigerian phenomenon. It is only how we play it here. The Clintons have been controlling the...
In particular, the role of the political party, APC now. What can they do anything to reconcile?
That's why I'm saying that when we are saying the governor should intervene and that the president should intervene, I'm always very, cautious about that. In one breath, you want federalism. You want a situation in which the subnationals can resolve their issues without
interference,
without a big brother, wielding the big stick. And in this case, the president don't have boys that he can give instruction to. These are also elected. The only person in this particular case he can give instruction to is the minister, who is his appointee. He can caution that one, but if he can morally persuade, just like what we were doing with the Father Kuka, what's this thing that we do, the peace, the National Peace Committee situation, it will be a moral suasion asking people to see reason to put, like Doctor has been saying, the people at the center of this conversation and minimize the deeper interests. We talk about ethnic, religious. The ethnicists didn't put Fubara in power. It was not Ijaw people that made him governor. Everybody knows how he became governor. So when you say Ijaw people are now saying, when did they wake up to that? These things are neither here nor there. What needs to happen is to say simply that let elections come. Like Jide said, the whole misconduct thing is because there's a fight. If there's no fight, nobody is going to refer to any gross misconduct. Let them get past all of that. Sit in one place as Rivers people. The big stakeholders of the state needs to come under one roof and say, enough of this shame, enough of the opprobrium that we have continued to bring on our people. There has to be an end. But people benefit from crisis. There are people who are called in Igbo, they call them Orina crisis. That is, they eat during crisis. They are
merchants of violence.
They are purveyors of this situation. This situation benefits them because there's a pipe to both. There's a pipe to Fubara. There's a pipe to Wike.
Okay.
And there are people who benefit nationally, including the media, including activists, who have made River State the center of the. So, except we excuse all of these people, you were asking me how to resolve the problem. I don't know.
Okay.
The people who got into the shit themselves need to come together and say, look, let us put Rivers people at the center of this issue. And they've never been there, like I keep saying. The Rivers people are completely absent.
They've never been there.
They are not part of this conversation. Let the gladiators.
Okay, I have another comment from a viewer, IY Kwache. He says, Jide Ojo is perfectly right. Nigerians are vibrant and have been speaking against misgovernance in Nigeria. Holistic changes to the constitution is the answer. The National Assembly and Houses of Assembly need stronger constitutional powers to check the power of president and government. This starts with transparent elections. Jide, and what kind of scenarios do you think will unfold if internal APC interests sort of begin to clash in Rivers State with the ideology of, with what Wike wants right now?
Well, I don't know. Wike is not a member of APC.
Yes.
But, he's a master of Rainbow Coalition. So, in fact, this Rainbow Coalition started from the last local government election, where all his loyalists, he just gave them form, go and contest under APC. So, he retained 3 for PDP, gave APC 20. Then, when his loyalists were to defect, majority, I think 16 or 17 of them defected to APC, he retained the other ones, so that if PDP crisis, in which is also a dramatic personnel, if it gets resolved, he will still have some foot soldiers to play. Because he's a very strategic person. I respect his intellect.
His stratagem is very, very
forget it. It's not even, I don't respect him for being a lawyer. I respect him for being intellectually sagacious. He's like he was born to do politics, and he has been doing that. And maybe that's what Jagaban, President Bola Tinubu, sees in him. Because when you also say our president, you will not even think about whether he studied accounting or whatever. He's a master of politics, more than professor of political sciences. Because when you look at the kind of political godchildren that Jagaban has fathered in the last 26 years, it's amazing. They are the ones that did the work across the country to make him president. At least they were part of his foot soldiers. Somebody that has left power since 2007, who still has influence on his successors. And, today, he was able to even produce a vice president. And which greater godfatherism can you... it's documented that, Yemi Oshibajo was his protege,
Yes.
served under him as a mini commissioner for justice, and he an attorney general, and he made him the vice president. I don't think Wike has achieved that, but maybe that's his aspiration, that one day he will be able to either become president himself or make somebody president. So I respect his intellect, but you see, if you leave someone like Wike to do as he likes, I'm taking it from the angle of Ezenwa. Down the road, the cost will be too much for us to bear. Because the issue in question, and why this is why president needs to come in. The reason is this: if there is insecurity in rivers, it affects the economy of Nigeria. Most of the pipelines, oil pipelines, are in the riverine. They are not in the Port Harcourt city. So if there is act of vandalism, the budget 2026 is going to be funded from what? Majorly from the oil revenue. Okay. So that is why peace needs to be maintained. So call them into a room. I don't think APC really have not had Professor Nantawi making a statement. Well, I think what Fidelis Moka has said in APC is that we are studying the situation.
Yes,
maybe right. He wants the president to come back, but if the president, as we saw, was able to foster reconciliation in Lagos State House of Assembly last year,
yes,
I believe he could also do
Mr. Jide, we have to pause you.
All right,
Mr.
so
Demola,
I think
our regular Kashim Ali sent in a message now. He said, Mr. President must rein his minister. Abuja is dirty with solid and liquid waste competing for space on the streets. Potable water is inadequate. Green areas are being converted to plots, and no new district infrastructure has been awarded since he took over. Yet, he has all the time to engage in Rivers' tensed politics that could endanger the polity. Kashim Ali.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we just want to give Prof maybe just 60 seconds to just, your parting words.
30 seconds, actually.
Prof, your parting words before we conclude.
So, also this morning is the President Bola Tinubu, should move in and caution State House of Assembly, caution all parties, so that Rivers State will breathe. Because, like I earlier mentioned before, the legal position may not solve our problem, but the president has all the powers to do that. If he does that, then Rivers State will be happy. Rivers people believe in the young man who is the governor, because in governance, you must think about the people, and he thinks about civil servants. And that's why they love him. So any other thing outside that, Rivers will not want it. So we want President Bola Tinubu to look at it and make sure that we are peaceful and so that our state can move forward. Thank you.
So Patrick Yobugi is a professor of administration and information management at Rivers State University. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Also, we want to thank Ezewa Nwagu, Chairman Partners for Electoral Reforms. Thank you so much, Ezewa, for your usual contribution. Thank you. And Jide Ojo, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for your contribution as well. And Dr. Abdulrazak Salihu Ibrahim, Department of Political Science and International Relations, now University. We so appreciate your contribution as well. Thank you so much. I want to thank our viewers for sending your comments and questions. We had so many of them that we couldn't read out, so please pardon us for that. It's due to time. So that's our conversation this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Ademola Adeoye.
And I am Jumo Yusuf. Do have a great week ahead.